Hey everyone, it's Grace and we're in the lab. So most people think that when it comes to coffee flavor, it all comes down to what beans you have, maybe a brew method or your grind size. And while all of those things are very important, today I want to talk about something that sometimes gets overlooked, and that is the coffee filter. So today we're going to do an experiment and find out if paper does make a difference in our brew. What I want to highlight today is this filter from Melitta. This is a Melitta number 4, but it's specific to pour overs. To break it down, I'm going to do 3 different brews using the Clever Dripper with a Melitta number 4 pour over filter, and then a number 4 Oxygen-bleached filter and a number 4 brown paper filter. And when I say number 4, what that means is the filter's size. You'll see number 2, number 4, I think there might be a number 6, but all that means is the size that is compatible with the brew device. We're gonna start with the brown paper filter, which I think is the most commonly used filter out there. You can go to pretty much any grocery store and find it. It's also the most approachable because it doesn't have any chemical names in it. It's brown, it looks more natural, and then it's also probably the most affordable. So we're gonna start with brewing with this one first. I always fold the edges of my filter. It's perforated right there for easy access. Open it up, set it down into your filter. This way, it's not sticking up, it's ready to brew, and it's also not restricting any of the water or brew process. I also just want to add into here that I'm going to wet my filter. I always wet my filter before I brew. That may not be something that everyone does, but I do it because I think it makes a huge difference. There's a lot of flavor in paper, and coffee is also 99% water. So if our water tastes off due to our filter, then the coffee is going to taste off too. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse my filter, and I'm going to taste the filter water. I don't normally use the brown filters. I feel like it can leave a papery taste in my brew. I'm gonna try and prove that right now by just trying the water and see how it tastes. Yeah, there's this like wet cardboard flavor, especially in the aftertaste. It's lingering and filling up my palate with papery cardboardiness that I don't love, a little bit of astringency as well. And that's why I like to rinse that out. Now I'm gonna conduct this experiment using the Colombia Nariño Aponte honey by producer Rosa Villota. This is a honey process, so I thought this would kind of be perfect because this is gonna highlight a lot of fruity notes. Honeys can typically be syrupy in body, so that's why I chose the Clever Dripper. Clever Dripper is a perfect midpoint for doing a pour over as well as an immersion brew. For consistency purposes, this is a great brew device to use, and it's going to really highlight this amazing coffee. What else is gonna be consistent? Well, the recipe is gonna be consistent, the water temperature is gonna be consistent, the grind size is gonna be the same. Everything will be the same, except the filters are going to get changed. I'm gonna do a 1:17 ratio, so I'm gonna do 20 grams of coffee, 340 grams / milliliters out. I'm gonna obviously work a bloom in there at about 40 grams for 45 seconds. Then I'm going to pour the water in and let it steep. So what's great about the Clever Dripper is if you don't have the time and you want to have fun and do a pour over, but you don't wanna wait, you can just dump the water in and go about your day. It does smell so good. Always remember to purge your grinder. You don't know what was in there before, and you don't know what the grind setting was at before, so you want to get everything nice and consistent. So because this is a pour over / immersion brew, we don't want our grind size to be too fine. We also don't want it to be too coarse. We kind of want it to be somewhere right in the middle. I have 205-degree water. Again, that's going to be the same water temp across the board with all 3 brews. It smells like paper. So at the 45-second mark, my bloom's gonna be done, and I'm gonna go ahead and add all my water in at one time. I'm gonna put the lid on and I'm gonna let it steep for 4 minutes. And at the 4-minute mark, I'm gonna drain the coffee. You could dump all of this in. That's definitely an option. I still like to add it in a nice, like, even, consistent manner. But I think the most important thing is to remember to add a little bit of turbulence at some point during this brew to make sure everything's evenly saturated. But the idea is to make sure you get all your water added by the 1.5-minute mark. I'm gonna add some agitation. And then we're gonna put the lid on. And it's gonna steep for 4 minutes. Okay, we're at 4 minutes. If the drain is too fast, your grind size might be a little bit too coarse. And if it's going a little too slow, then it's probably too fine of a grind size. This looks really good. I'm happy with this, the speed of which it is draining. I think the Clever Dripper is also going to give the opportunity to really showcase what each of these filters produce in the cup, because a lot of times with pour overs, you're just pouring the water through and it's passing through. This actually steeped, and it's steeped with the filter as well. So we might see a lot of paperiness with this coffee, even though we did wet the filter. Okay, that took about a minute to drain. That makes me very happy. The brew bed here looks really great. It's nice and flat. There's no high and dries going up and around the sides of the filter. It looks like it extracted nice and evenly, which is a good sign of proper extraction. First up, aroma evaluation. Taste with 80% of what we smell. I say that a lot because it's so true, and aroma is very impactful when it comes to coffee flavor and experience. There's some really nice honey sweetness, which has nothing to do with the fact that it's a honey process, but there is like a nice sweetness to it. I think I'm getting paper, but I could be biased. It almost smells a little bit like printer paper after you've printed something. There's that like heated papery smell to it. But there is some nice sweetness, so I'm a little bit surprised at what I'm experiencing from this one right away. Did it get rid of the paper taste completely? Let's find out. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I taste paper in this. I taste astringency. There's a dryness in the aftertaste. Going back to that heated printer paper, that like hot papery taste that I'm getting as well. You get some sweetness right in the beginning, honey citrusy sweetness, but it definitely dissipates and goes more towards I'd say a sweet cardboard, a sweet wet cardboard. Okay, next up is the number 4 oxygen-bleached coffee filter that you can find at the grocery store. Melitta also makes these, Filtropa makes these. So let's talk a little bit about oxygen-bleached filters, because I think it's a common misconception on what exactly it is and what it entails. So let's just debunk that right now. So if you see a filter that is bleached, it's actually oxygen bleached, which means it's whitened using an oxygen-based process, not chlorine. This is really important because chlorine bleaching can leave behind obviously some chemical residues and flavors in your cup. Oxygen bleaching does not. The white filters that you see are chemical or bad. They're designed to be taste neutral, which is exactly what you want from filter paper. Okay, this one smells papery too. Maybe even a little bit more than the brown filter, which is surprising. But it's weird, it almost smells like cleaner paper. Not wet, dirty cardboard. It's more like fresh, clean paper. I actually think that one has more of a papery taste as well, but there's this weird sweetness, which I find really interesting. This one does indeed taste more like paper than the brown one, but let's see how it holds up in the brew. Maybe we got all the papery taste out from wetting the filter. So that's the goal there when we're wetting the filter, is to remove that. So again, same thing here, 20 grams in, number 6 on the Fellow Ode Gen 1 grinder. We're going to go ahead and get our coffee rolling and ground. No need to purge the grinder again because we're grinding the same coffee through at the same grind size. Our water's already set. It's sitting at 205, ready to go. Got everything nice and saturated. Everything's off-gassing. CO2 is being released. Bubbles are coming up. That's what we want to see within our bloom. You should always bloom, no matter what brew method you're using. If you're able to pre-infuse or add water to the grinds first thing and let all those gases that are trapped off gas, that's really important. Okay, lid goes on and we wait for 4 minutes. Once you pour water out of this insulated kettle, the temperature is going to start dropping really rapidly. So we want to try and hold the heat while the brew is happening as much as possible. Again, nice even extraction here. Water takes the path of least resistance. So if your brew bed is looking lumpy or certain divots or caves within it, then that could mean that the extraction is uneven. This has deeper citrus sweetness in it, more like navel orange or blood orange sweetness. I'm not smelling any paper. Oh, and it's getting even more prominent as it's cooling down. I'm noticing that the citric acid, malic acid sweetness is coming forward even more. Yeah, that's really nice, really pleasant. Not much papery taste at all. There's some really nice malic acidity, like apple, like a red apple, and a apple skin finish. A little bit drying, a little bit of wine-like dryness in the finish, which is really nice. But overall, very, very clean, very crisp, very refreshing. And again, not getting much papery at all. I don't feel wowed by it, but that could just be a personal preference. So I'm curious to brew this again using a filter that is designated specifically for pour over use. Okay, last but not least, we're going to experiment with the Melitta pour over coffee filter. There's a lot of hype around this. My boss, Hayden, he gave this to me. He said to check it out, brew with it, experiment with it, and see if we like it. We might carry it. So this is very specific to pour overs. It has fine micro pours and the special paper recipe that ensures a perfectly developed aroma and a filtration time particularly suitable for manual filtration. So let's put that to the test and see if that rings true. Smells like nothing, which I guess is the whole point. Again, I could be biased because I know which filter I'm using, but I'm not smelling any paper whatsoever. Tasting a little bit of paper, but not as much as the other two. I think it's impossible not to taste some paper when you wet your filter because the whole point is to get that paper taste out. I feel pretty confident if I had each of these waters side by side, I could pick out which one was which. But let's hop into the brew, shall we? Now, if you want to find this filter, you'll have to find it online. You won't be able to find it in the grocery store. So if it is something you want to try, I think we're going to offer it on our website to purchase, depending on how much we like it. But if you want to find it, you're going to have to Google it. So again, this filter is really unique because these micro pores in the filter, they're really important. They're going to control how water is flowing through the coffee and how much oil and fine material make up the cup. So again, we're going to 340. Also going to agitate the coffee bed just like the other two. Put the lid back on, let it steep for 4 minutes. I noticed this one's draining a little bit quicker. Much quicker. Oh, you know what? There's a hole in our filter. That's interesting. It must have happened during agitation. So one thing we've learned, this is a delicate ass filter. The puncture could have definitely been my bad. While I was agitating, I could have been a little too aggressive, which is possible. It did affect the extraction rate a little bit, and we can tell by the look of our brew bed is a little bit uneven. I'm gonna roll with it and just taste it anyway, because these things do happen, and I don't necessarily think it's gonna affect the taste too much unless the extraction was so uneven that it pulled out bitter carbohydrates or different kind of flavors throughout the coffee. But let's try it and see. Smells more berry sweetness versus the citric and citrus sweetness I was getting with the other one. Oxygen-bleached filter number 4. I'm getting a little bit more of that classic funky fermenty cheesecake-like aroma with this, which is, to me, it lets me know that this is a honey or an anaerobic. I feel like both of those processes bring out this cheesecake sweetness smell. It's very, very distinct. Call me crazy, but I'm getting that from this, which is good because it's letting me know what process this is. And I think we're on the right track. Really smooth, really smooth. Slight paperiness, not as sweet as the other two. But overall, more complex, and I think a bit more balanced. I'm curious how this tastes as it cools down a little bit. That's a really good cup of coffee. Getting this initial sweetness in all 3 of them from the beginning. What's really different amongst all 3 is the aftertaste, which the brown filter, wet cardboardy aftertaste, the oxygen-bleached number 4 filter from the grocery store was papery, but had like a nice dry champagne-like essence to it. This one's a bit more sessionable though, and clean. It's almost, there's a little bit more of a silkiness on my tongue rather than like a dry and astringent taste, which astringency I think is linked to paper qualities. Lime? I think the biggest takeaway, this is just more balanced than the other 2, and there isn't really a papery aftertaste. I was getting it in the aroma a little bit, but I'm not getting it in the taste. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. There might be some influences here that are making me choose one over the other. So what I'm gonna do is do a blind taste test. I'm gonna let all of these reach the same temperature and then try them side by side and see how it goes. Okay, so the production team went ahead and got this set up for me. I don't know which coffee is which. So I'm gonna give these a taste and see if I can detect which one is which. I'm gonna put the filter that I think that it is in front of the corresponding cup. So here we go. Hmm. 1000%. Yeah, this is definitely brown filter. If I'm wrong, I'm going to be shocked. There's some paper in this one. There's also, it's not as complex. It's falling flat. It's lacking like a roundness. So I'm gonna lock in that this one is not the pour over filter. This is the store-bought number 4 filter. And then this is the Melitta filter. Oh, great, okay. So I was correct. I've been wrong. But it was just so obvious. This actually just really didn't taste good at all. It was so wet New York City cardboard on the sidewalk. That's what it tasted like. How I would imagine that would taste like. I don't go to New York and... Okay, this is the Melitta pour over filter. It was just so balanced in flavor and rounded. And I use that word as a sense of like mouthfeel. There was just this nice round body from the front of the palate to the finish. It was harmonious and I really liked that. This one was, it had some nice things going on for it, some sweetness, some complexity, but there was a paperiness to it, as well as a lack of balance. Okay, so there you have it. Not all filters are created equal. If you like a certain filter or brew method, drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear about it. And if you want to try this limited release micro lot from Colombia, get it while you can. It won't be on our shelves for long. Bye.